Good morning, students. Welcome back to your economics class. In our last class, we discussed the roles and functions of money. We understood that money plays three important roles. The first one is it serves as a medium of exchange. We trade using money. Second, it is a storage of value. It holds the value of a certain thing without losing its essence. Third, it is used to assign a value to a good or service. So these are the various things that we understood, and these are the various roles, the basic roles that money plays. So let us now understand the learning objectives. What are we going to understand in this particular video? We are going to discuss the historical evolution of money. We will see how money has passed through various stages to reach where it is today, and why was it necessary that it went through so many changes. Then, related to this topic, we are also going to understand the various forms of money used in the earlier times, and what are the various forms of money that we are using now. When we talk about the word money, what does it come to our mind? We always think that money are the coins and the currencies that we use, but that is not the exact meaning of money. Money could be anything that is used as a mode of payment, that is used to make any kind of selling and buying process easier. So that is a mode of payment, that is called money. It could be of various forms, and that is what we are going to understand in this chapter. Now, the various stages that money went through over the period of time. The first one, and this is something not related too much to your syllabus, but you need to know the evolution stages to understand the forms of money. So we will quickly understand these without going too much into details. The first is the commodity money, where you exchange things. That is a barter system. Second, the metallic money. Third, the paper money. Credit money is the fourth one, and finally what we have is the electronic money. Now, whenever any sort of payment is made where you exchange commodities to fulfill your needs, whether it could be tea, silver, seashells, or any of the commodities as you see in this picture, then that mode of payment is known as commodity money, because we use products, we exchange products, and that is why it is called commodity money. The commodity money is nothing but the barter system, and as we have discussed earlier, it has three major defects, but actually it has many more. The first one is how to store them, how to transport them. It is always a problem. Then these are perishable, they are not durable, and finally dividing them equally between the buyer and the seller is sometimes an issue. So to overcome the shortcomings of commodity money, started the concept of metallic money. Now, we should understand that metallic money did not happen just overnight. So the concept of coins started. So when the concept of coins started, it started wherein the people started making coins using the skin of animals. That was the first coin. But actually, when the coin started to be used, what we have understood in history is it started in the Song dynasty in China. Okay, but we don't need to understand that much here. You just need to remember that to overcome the commodity money's shortcomings, we started using metallic money. The metallic money is nothing but use of precious stones and precious metals, which were given the shape of coins or bars, and these were used as a mode of payment. But again, they had some defects. First, the weight of the coins varied. Okay, so as a mode of payment, it was difficult to be accepted. Then Sometimes there was a question mark on the purity of the precious metals. There could be impure metals mixed with some pure metals. So people started looking for a different option. And finally we have the paper money that you are used to, that we connect with whenever we say that give me some money. What comes to your mind? This currency notes, right? So because this is when the modern time currency started. Currency notes are paper money, and this is the stage where the concept of modern form of money started. Earlier it was just the ancient or a traditional form of money. So paper notes were started when the goldsmiths started giving receipts. You know, right? For anything that you buy, if you have to give a receipt. So when the goldsmiths started giving receipts, so it was just to make sure that the payments would be paid later, or it was just a mode of making payments. And people started making use of it as a sort of a mode of exchange. So this was the point where the currency notes began, and finally now that is what we have, currency notes. But it also has some of its own problems. One big problem is storing it safely, because if you have a huge amount of money with you, storing it in a safe place can always be a problem. Secondly, it is also difficult sometimes to keep counting, especially when you have lakhs of rupees to count. It is difficult. You can make mistakes there. So this is the problem of paper money. Paper money, when it was started by the goldsmiths, but later on the central government took over this method and they only started issuing the currencies. This is what we are going to discuss a little bit more in our coming slide. Then the fourth stage of evolution of money is the credit money, the checkbook, the drafts, the various kinds of banking notes that we use, the negotiable instruments that we use, the drafts, anything of that sort, that is known as the credit money. It includes bank money, anything that the bank, when you go to the bank and you deposit money, you take out money, everything comes under credit money. It is very safe. It is easily transportable. You deposit money in one bank and you take it out from a different bank. So you just don't have to carry it along with you. So, and a bank is the safest place to keep your money. It's very, very convenient for regular people. Finally, what we have now, what you all are used to, is electronic money, wherein money is transferred electronically, virtually, where you actually don't hold cash or you hold money in your hand, but you have in your bank, and then you transfer it from one bank to other. You use it while making online shopping payments, any kind of Google Pay, PayPal, these are all electronic money, or various sorts of digital money. This is the age of digital money. We also call it electronic or e-money. Everything happens with the use of computer network via internet, where value is stored from one computer to other, or one mobile to another. Okay, now that's what I was talking about. You transfer money using your debit card, your credit card, or any other vouchers, electronic vouchers or mobile apps. So money is stored and exchanged electronic. So that is how money has evolved, and this is what you see right now. But these are all modern forms of money. Now let's come to the forms of money. As I said, at the very beginning, forms of money included exchange of commodities, grains, cattle. Then we moved to metallic coins, silver, gold, and etc. Then came the modern times, wherein we started using currencies, deposits with banks, and checks. And this is the category that we are going to study in details in this chapter. We are going to study the modern forms of money. The first modern form of money is currency. So let's understand it more in details. The first modern form of money is currency. What is currency? Currency are the paper notes, the paper money, that we use. But a very important characteristic of currency note is that it does not have any value of its own. If it just lies on the ground, it's just a piece of paper, okay. But unlike the precious stones, a precious stone, a piece of a coin, gold coin, which was used in the traditional times, when it would lie on the floor, it has still some value because it is a precious metal. Or there are things like grains, cattle, these are used day to day in our life. But the currency note, if you have to understand it properly, it has no value of its own, no use of its own. We as the people or the government assigns it a value, okay, otherwise it is just a piece of paper. Secondly, it is accepted across the world as a medium of exchange now in the modern times. Why? Because the government of every country has assigned or given it the authority and authorized that particular currency as a mode of payment. So it is accepted as a medium of exchange because the currency is authorized by the government of the country wherever it is used. That is why these are the important characteristics of currency. Now, how did currency happen in India? What are the things related to it? Let's understand in brief. Reserve Bank of India, RBI, that is the only authority in India which has the power to issue currencies. In layman's language, it is the only organization which can print, manufacture currencies, and that too it cannot do independently. It has to do with the consent of the central government. It works on behalf of the central government. So there are only two organizations in our country, in India, that is responsible for manufacturing, printing, issuing of currencies, and that they have to work together. First is the central government and second is the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, which is also called as the central bank of the country. Secondly, it is also important to understand that no individual of the country or no big organization or small organization has the power to issue currencies under the Indian law. If anybody does so, then that person will be penalized. He will be punished for that. In India, the rupee is the only currency that is used as a medium of exchange. Similarly, in other countries they have their own currency, but in India you cannot manufacture some or you print some currency and say that okay, this is going to be the mode of payment from the coming session. No, rupee is the only one which has been authorized by the government and has been accepted across the country. So all transactions in India are now done using only rupee. And any person cannot, and no person of this country can say, I am not going to accept this particular rupee as a mode of payment. Suppose I am in India or suppose I am in Mumbai and I am going to sell my cattles, okay. Now I cannot say that to whoever person who comes to buy my cattles that okay, you give me in dollars. I cannot say that. I have to accept a payment only in rupee because that is the currency that we are using in our country. Rupee is a widely accepted medium of exchange in India. Why? Because it has been given the legal symbol by the country. Okay, it has been legalized by the country. That is why all transactions happen via rupee. Few more important things here. The first modern form of money is currency. Second is deposits with bank. Now everybody is familiar that we go to the bank, We open a bank account, and what do? We deposit whatever extra money that we have. So bank is a place where we deposit the extra money that we don't need for our day-to-day life. And if we just keep it with us, it will not grow. But if we go and deposit it in the bank by opening an account in our name, what will the bank do? The bank is going to give you some interest for depositing the money with them. Okay, so whenever you are going to withdraw that money from that account as per your demand, then what will the bank do? It will give you the money. Along with it, they will give you some interest, extra money for putting the money in their bank. Okay, now because we deposit this money in a bank and we get interest from it, okay, and also it can be kept safely because bank is the safest place to keep the money, where it will also grow because of the interest that you get. That is why whatever money that you deposit in the bank, it is called as demand deposit. Now this is important. It is called as demand deposit. So deposits with the bank is known as demand deposits. This is the second form of money. But you may be asking that it is not cash. We don't see the currency as such. You can see the currency. Why? Because whenever you deposit something, you also have the right of withdrawing it. And when you withdraw, you get cash. And that is why it's a currency. That's what you can keep it in the bank for safety purpose, and wherein you also get some kind of interest. Now, the third form of money, that is the check facility. Everybody has seen a checkbook or a check. This is the topic that we are going to study in details in our next class. But herein, let us just understand what is a check. Now, check is a facility that a bank would give you whenever you open an account with the bank. Okay, suppose I go to a bank and I have opened a demand deposit. Okay, I have opened an account and I have deposited money there. So, if I want to transfer some money from my account to someone else, I want to give some money for make some payment to someone else, I will be using the facility called checkbook. So, check is nothing but a piece of paper wherein you are instructing the bank that pay a person, so and so person, this particular amount from your account to that person's name. Okay, so by definition, a check is a paper instructing the bank to pay a specific amount from the person's account to the person in whose name the check has been issued. Now this we are going to study more in details in our next class. So basically, demand deposit is basically a form of money, a modern form of money. And whenever you open an account and deposit money with the bank gives you an added facility, and that added facility is called check facility. You will be getting a checkbook wherein you will be able to transfer money to someone from whom you have bought something, or you want to get some money from someone. That check can be used, but this check facility will only be given to the people who have an account with that bank. And that means checks are always issued against a demand deposit. You open a bank account, you deposit money. That money is used to send through a check to someone that you want to pay. So a check, you just cannot go into a bank and say that I want to transfer some money to so and so. The bank will firstly ask you, do you have an account with us? And if so, is the account a demand deposit account where you are spending, where you are keeping money? If the demand deposit is zero, in that case they will not allow you to issue a check. It has to have certain amount of money in it, and from that is a guarantee that when you're transferring money to a different person, it shows that you have money in your bank. So demand deposit has to be there in the bank. That's when the check facility is allowed. It is possible only through the use of check to make or to settle any kinds of payments without the use of cash. Okay, now check facility helps demand deposits. Okay, it is a facility that you get because you have a demand deposit. It's related, and everything is related to a bank, because modern form of money cannot function without currency note, without checkbook, along with the demand deposit. And because you can transfer money, okay, because you can transfer money using the check facility, that is the reason why demand deposit is also known as money. Demand deposit because you can take out money using the checkbook for yourself, or you can send it to someone else. That is an important characteristics of money. It is generally affordable. It can be transferred, transported, and it has some value assigned with it. That is why these are the characteristics of money, and all these characteristics are fulfilled by a demand deposit, where with the use of a checkbook you can transfer money, give money, or settle payments without using a cash. You can, that paper, that instruction paper, that is checkbook, just instructs the bank that okay, I have this much of money in my demand deposit and let me transfer it to so and so, because I have bought or purchased certain things from that person. So there are three modern forms of money. The first one is currency, that only the RBI can issue, that too on behalf of the central government. And rupee is the only medium of payment that is allowed in India, legally allowed in India. And no person can refuse to say, can refuse that okay, I am not going to accept a payment in rupee. He or she has to accept it. Secondly is the demand deposit, is the money that you deposit in the bank for which you are given an interest. Okay, and as in when you want to withdraw that money on your demand, you can withdraw it. That is why it is called demand deposit. Finally, when you have demand deposit, you have an account with the bank, you are given an added facility, and that is the checkbook. Checkbook allows you to transfer money to settle payments without using cash directly. It is nothing but a piece of paper which instructs the bank that I am so and so, and I have this much of money in my bank. I am going to transfer this particular XYZ amount to the other person. It is just a note of instruction. Okay, and this brings me to the end of today's lesson. And in our next lesson, we are going to study in details about the layout of a check. How does a check look like, and how does the bank function, and what is the concept of loan all about? What do you mean by loan? So these are three things that we are going to touch in our next video or our live class. So money in the modern economy includes three things: currency, demand deposit, and check facility. Right? So I would request all of you to go through the video and the PPT and then complete the homework that I have assigned in the Google Classroom. The last date of submission is 28th of August for 10C. And that's the same for 10B too. So kindly go through the questions that I have given you and try to answer them. If you are not able to answer them, we will discuss it in our next live class. So have a nice day. Thank you.